Our movie begins with Eros talking to Michael, informing him that he'll release him from the orphanage on one condition: he must work for him. Michael also tells him he'll first take him to attend his daughter's ballet party. We learn that Eros lived in an orphanage because his parents died in an accident when he was young. Of course, he agrees to work for Michael in exchange for leaving the orphanage. On the way, Michael talks about his daughter Reese and tells Eros that he's mostly worried about her because she's alone. Also, a mysterious person has been sending her threatening messages for a long time and he can't figure out who it is. He asks Eros to be his daughter's bodyguard, promising to let him live under his wing in return. But if Eros makes any wrong moves, he'll see a different side of Michael. As soon as they arrive at the party, we see Reese completely absorbed, dancing her heart out. Suddenly a spotlight starts shaking violently and is about to fall on her, making her flinch. Eros quickly runs and manages to save her. Of course, he's hailed as a hero and everyone starts talking about the superhero who saved her. After a while, Michael is very stressed about his daughter, convinced that the spotlight incident wasn't an accident but the work of the person sending her messages. He's terrified that something might happen to Reese. Meanwhile, Eros is with his friends Diego and Peyton, telling them about his new job. He says he's not at all convinced by it and is worried because it's a difficult job. If anything happens to the girl, he'll be held responsible and might not be able to save her. Peyton tells him to calm down, saying the most important thing is that he'll get a high reward for what he did, which is what matters now, as rich people are very generous with those they like. Eros tells them they also need to find stable jobs so they can take Simon to live with them. Simon is a younger friend from the orphanage. At this time, Michael is having breakfast with his daughter and her friend. He tells Reese that he has solved the problems they're facing. He goes to open the door and Eros enters, telling her, from now on, no leaving this house without Eros. But Reese completely refuses, saying she doesn't want someone constantly restricting her freedom. He tells her, there's no discussing this. This is my final word and it won't change. By the way, this is the one who saved you at your dreadful party, remember? Reese gets upset, takes her leave and walks away. Eros continues to explore the entire house to get a feel for it. He sees Reese splashing in the swimming pool. Just as temptation starts to creep into his mind, Michael walks in and tells him, don't let your devil tempt you, so we can remain friends. My daughter is a red line, understand? Eros and his devil compose themselves and he gets scared. The next morning, Eros goes with Reese to school. She literally can't stand him and wants to set him on fire. Michael has enrolled Eros in the same school as Reese so he can be with her everywhere. But a boy named Raul doesn't like Eros at all and keeps bothering him with words. After they're done, Reese tells him, leave me alone for a bit and I'll make things right for you. You don't have to stick to me like glue. I'm not a superstar for my dad to think I'm targeted even inside school. Then she leaves and sits with her friend, annoyed. And she gets even more annoyed when her silly friends make fun of her for having a bodyguard. As soon as Reese sees her photos, smoke comes out of her ears, but her other friends calm her down and tell her she's lucky, especially since the boy is so gentle and they like him, and they also like his name because Eros is the title of the god of love to them. A little later, they go to continue their ballet lesson. There, the transferred boy comes and finds the poor girl studying. He tells her, you have to invite me to your birthday, otherwise by mommy and daddy, I won't invite you to my birthday. She replies, that's what I want. Now leave me alone, I don't want to attend your birthday anyway. But Raul insists because she's his ex, and he gets even more frustrated when she insists he stay away from her. All this time, Eros is watching them and goes to check on Reese. Afterwards, she goes to ballet practice. Suddenly, while practicing, she falls on her leg and everyone laughs at her. She gets even more upset and decides to go to Manuela's party. On the way, Eros asks her, what's wrong with you? Why are you so out of it? And why does someone want to finish you off? She tells him, forget about me, whatever your name is. I have nothing to do with anyone. She's sure someone cut her shoe during ballet practice. A little later, curiosity gets the better of her and she wants to know who he is. She asks him, which disaster did you fall on me from? He tells her he's not a spoiled child, that he's 4 years older than her, and that his parents died in an accident when he was young. Her father supports a charity that adopted him and he would visit him every 6 months. He was very impressed with him to the point of covering all his needs. Reese learns that he's alone and has no siblings, knowing only his friends Diego and Peyton and the little boy Simon. He tells her that he and his friends work specifically so they can take Simon to live with them. As soon as they arrive at Manuela's house, she tells him, don't even think about entering Manuela's party or I'll smash you. This party is only for close friends. But after a while, he decides to go in and watches their world. Manuela, Reese's friend, sees him and asks, are you Reese's new boyfriend? He replies, of course not, we're just relatives. Suddenly Reese enters and tells him, didn't I tell you not to follow me? Before he can reply, the party's performance begins and Raul stands up to mock Reese and Eros. He keeps making fun of them and everyone at the party laughs. Eros loses his temper and gets up to teach him a lesson, and a big fight breaks out between them. But Reese quickly intervenes and after getting angry at them, she leaves to go home. As soon as they return home, Eros goes to his room and chats with Peyton, but Reese is furious because of what happened. She decides to unfollow Raul and starts looking at Eros's pictures. It seems, dear friend, that he has entered her mind. The next morning, Eros is surprised by Peyton and Diego, who have come to the school gate. Just as he's about to get angry at them, Peyton tells him they need his help because some kids are bothering them. As he's about to go with them, Reese tells him she'll go with him, but he insists on not taking her, telling her, "Go to your ballet class by yourself." He leaves with his friends. As soon as Reese sees him taking Peyton behind him to that area, Reese goes crazy and the fire of jealousy ignites in her mind. When they arrive at the location, Eros is surprised to see Reese getting out of the car saying, "I'm in." Peyton tells her, "We won't upset you," and gives her the iron, asking her to go with Eros. They ride a motorcycle to the kids who were bothering them and start smashing their bikes. They quickly escape before they all get beaten up. Reese was happy that she experienced this atmosphere and finally approves of Eros, telling him, "You're very mysterious and you've entered my mind." She then gets on the back of his bike and is very happy. As soon as they enter the house, they are surprised to find Michael waiting for them at the door. He gets into an argument with Reese for being late, telling her, "This house has rules and you must follow them." He gets angry at Eros and tells him to focus on his work or he'll make him regret it. Then everyone goes to sleep. The next morning, Eros decides to live his life and each of them starts ignoring the other, their interactions minimal. At school, Raul is furious that Reese is ignoring him and keeps trying to convince her to be nice to him and accept him again. But Reese is completely turned off by him and annoys him even more by going to sit next to Eros. At night, Eros goes downstairs to drop them off and Gizzy calls him and talks to him. He learns that they are trying to reach the person sending the threatening messages. He sees the last message she sent her, which read that she must pay the price for the mistake even if she didn't commit it. A little later, Reese comes down and they leave, heading to a party with Eros and his friends. Reese can't take her eyes off Eros. It seems she has fallen head over heels in love. After a while, she hears them calling Eros the legend, because his parents died in an accident while he was with them and he was the only survivor. Then they get up and continue to party and dance. A little later, he goes to chat with Peyton, who hates rich people and considers them opportunistic. She tells him that these people are not like them, but Eros sees them as good people and that fingers are not all alike. When Peyton finds it useless to provoke him against Reese, she leaves and continues to party and dance. Of course, Eros goes to live the moment with Reese. In the end, they spend the rest of the night on the beach. Reese asks him about the reason for the nickname, the legend. He tells her that people blame him for the accident that happened to his parents and they all say he was the cause of their death. Reese feels sorry for him and decides to make him forget about it, she and the devil. The next morning was her birthday and she was celebrating finally turning. She's surprised to find that Gizzy had invited Diego and Peyton. Honestly, the kids were a complete mess. As soon as they saw the buffet, their mouths dropped open. They continued their antics, entering the house as if it were an amusement park, running around, she and Diego. Peyton sees Michael's weapon cabinet and they joke around with the weapons as if they're playing PUBG. Meanwhile, Reese is daydreaming in her room. Suddenly, all her room's glass shatters and she finds a black ball on the floor with, "Your days are numbered," written on it. She gets terrified and doesn't know what to do. Then she goes to the club to run a bit. There she tells Eros that she wants to go to the party Raul is throwing at his house to search the house and perhaps find evidence against him. She tells Eros that it's a costume party so no one will recognize them. And indeed, they go to the party, which was full of fun and games. They both sneak into Raul's room, but Raul enters and they quickly hide in the closet. He was entering, to God forbid, with the devil. Suddenly he hears a sound inside the closet. As soon as he opens it, he sees them. Just as he's about to attack them, Reese tells him she came to get her dress that she forgot. She kicks him in the leg and quickly runs away. They were extremely happy and went to continue their night at the swimming pool. The next morning she goes to school and the day passes normally. But as soon as they arrive home, they find Michael waiting for them at the door. He tells Eros, "Thank you for your beautiful services," and gives him a dismissal form. Eros asks him to explain the mystery before he leaves and asks him to explain the meaning of the picture he found in his office. Michael tells him that he only dealt with his family for 1 week, the week right before the accident, and that they were working in his restaurant at the time. He tells him that he did all this for him because he truly loved them. Eros gathers his things and leaves, going back to live with Diego and Peyton. But unfortunately, he couldn't stop thinking about Reese. She had completely taken over his mind, and she too couldn't forget him. She had fallen in love with him. A few days later, she was sleeping on Eros's bed and was surprised by his diary. She finds him insulting her father, and her family one by one from the moment he started working for them. She learns that he can't stand rich people. She immediately sends him a message telling him that she has discovered his true nature. One day she was at ballet practice and finds Eros in front of her. He tries to explain that he initially saw her that way because she was indeed arrogant. He's shocked that she suspected him of being the criminal sending messages, but love spreads, dear friend, and it turns into a Bollywood scene and it even rains. I guess they've reconciled and are back to their love story. She takes him home with her and love ignites the fire, hopefully burning them both. Anyway, at night she was making instant coffee and accidentally checks the school group. She's surprised to learn that Peyton works at the school and is surprised because Peyton had never mentioned it. She immediately goes to wake Eros and tells him that she suspects Peyton might be behind everything that's happening, but of course Eros tells her there's no way Peyton would do that. He leaves and goes back to his friend's house. As soon as Peyton arrives, she finds him asleep on the couch. He tells her he's there to celebrate her birthday with her. The poor girl was happy and put the cake on her head. But she's shocked when he tells her, "I want to know why you didn't tell me about your new job?" She gets nervous and tells him that she was shy to tell him because she was doing cleaning work. She asks Eros, "What's up with you? It looks like you've fallen in love with Reese head over heels. So we'll let him pour his heart out while we see Michael celebrating his new company." When he finds that Reese is late, he sends someone to check on her and is surprised to find her going to Eros's house. He's furious and fed up with her. At this time Eros is interrogating Peyton, and when she reaches her limit she tells him, "I'll get dressed and go to work now." But he insists she doesn't go before she tells him why she was missing for 3 days. But dear friend, in her nervousness she accidentally pushes Eros and unfortunately he falls to the ground and faints. She finds a message from Reese on his phone telling him that she's on her way. She starts to get more nervous and the fear increases. In seconds she hears a knock at the door and it's Reese. She tells her, "Come in just for a moment and Eros will be here." After a while she tells her that Eros might be late and that she must leave to go to her job. When Reese asks her where exactly she works, she says she works in a cafe. Just as Reese tells her, "Sit and wait for Eros with me," boom! The door knocks and Michael appears. As soon as he enters he asks Peyton, "Are you the one sending the messages?" And here, dear friend, was the surprise. She tells him, "You don't seem to remember me. Focus with me now so you can get the gist of the movie's summary. I'm here to get my rights from you." And boom! She raises the weapon and tells him, "You rich people, you commit a disaster and then forget that you did it." At the same moment Eros wakes up and comes out. Peyton tells Michael, "You know very well that you're the reason our families died. Despite that you made Eros carry the blame his whole life just to escape prison. And what do you know, dear friend? He had a restaurant but it wasn't licensed and there were no fire extinguishers. As soon as a fire broke out due to negligence he blamed it on their families." We understand that Peyton's mother was working with Eros's parents at Michael's restaurant at the time. Eros tries to calm her down and begs her to put down the weapon, but her brain fuses have blown. She tells him, "Get out of my way. I've lived all this for this moment. I must get justice for those who are gone." As soon as Eros tries to help them escape, that boy is very clumsy. Peyton quickly runs after them and starts shooting at them. And indeed a bullet hits Michael and he dies. Of course Peyton is imprisoned on charges of murder. After a while Eros goes to comfort Reese, but comfort for them, dear friend, is different from ours. By the time it passes she would have had at least 2 children. He stays by her side until she begins to recover, and they both continue their lives together because neither of them is to blame for everything that happened. And our movie ends there. Like it, dear friend, and don't forget to tell me your opinion in a comment. And for those who are following us and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe as it makes a big difference to us. See you in the next movie.